During our break, a gentleman from the crowd identified himself as having been there. Fred Ordonez, if you'd like to come up and testify so that we get an answer to your question,
Hello, Judiciary Committee. I wasn't planning on testifying today. We had a couple of members testify from Direct Action for Rights and Equality. I'm the executive director there. We have Office Mills and Sheila Wilhelm testify, but there's been some questions about what actually happened there around safety. And I was there. And there's been some, for those of you who don't know, the folks that are involved in these protests are some of the most thou shalt not harm type folks that exist. They're pacifists, a lot of them are vegetarians, they don't want to hurt flies. So public safety is actually something that people really care about. The breakdown lane was completely clear for the protest that happened right next to the police station. It was completely free, clear, and every protester that was there was completed, the spirit of it was that any emergency vehicle would have been allowed to go through. People weren't taking up the whole highway where a car couldn't go through. Most people were, listening to the state troopers. Once they got there, they just wanted to make a point and stop that traffic for a little while to make a point, which they did. This safety issue has also come up in Massachusetts, where the ambulance was diverted. Ambulance drivers in Massachusetts were asked subsequently to that, what they thought about that. And they dismissed it because they say that highway sort of stoppage happens every other day to them. There's something that they're used to, and they reroute all the time. And that's what happened in that one case. They just knew that there was a stoppage up front, and they rerouted like they always do. This idea that it takes the rights away from other people, innocent people who are on the highway, it takes their rights away or puts lives in danger. It's a really hypocritical argument, because if this was about safety and the rights of folks on the highway, then we'd be criminalizing wildfire and the folks that put on wildfire because of the traffic and the stops that happens. We'd be criminalizing the Patriots Gillette Stadium and everybody that every time there's a game there, the highway comes to a stop. We'd be criminalizing the Red Sox. We'd be criminalizing the Civic Center for every time they have some event, and I'm sure some of you have sat in that traffic with the Civic Center, and you can't go anywhere, right? If everybody was actually concerned with safety, and safety was the issue, and slowing down the highway was the issue, then they would also be getting criminalized. That's what I want to add.
Thank you. Representative Vice Chair Costa.
Thank you, Chairman. How many people were at the protest, approximately?
Well, the protest had about 300 to 500 people, but there was about 100 to 150 that went onto the highway.
Now, was this, I've never blocked the highway, so I don't mean this question just to kind of sound dumb, but did you give the police a notice that you were going to do that so they could be prepared, or did you just get to the highway and say we're just going to block traffic?
So, civil disobedience, which has existed forever, is purposely breaking the law. People that are going to do civil disobedience purposely break the law, and they don't tell police ahead of time, hey, we're going to break the law, or else we wouldn't be able to do it.
So there was that. So you never gave them a heads up what was going to happen. You just weren't you afraid of getting hurt?
There were,
Were there any injuries?
the youth that were brave enough to go out there first, right? We were all concerned for their safety, and it's a risk they took upon themselves. But
I don't know if you call them brave or crazy. I mean, I can't imagine just going on a highway and with oncoming cars. I mean, it takes a lot of courage and guts to do that, I guess.
Yeah, roads started getting, people downtown, I don't know if you guys have any, remember, but downtown the streets have been blocked several times to different labor organizations or different workers that
Those are scheduled.
No, they're not scheduled. They get on the street and they sit there until the police come and arrest them. And the purpose is to call attention to something. The purpose is to break the law, to say, look, other things are so unjust that we're willing to break the law and get ourselves arrested. People get arrested at protests all the time.
Well, I'm just glad nobody got hurt. Thank you for your testimony.
Representative Almeida.
Thank you. Thank you. The way it came across in the media is as if y'all just blocked the highway like a human speed bump. Did anybody from the media at all talk to you, or not to you, but to anyone about what they were doing and how it went about?
Yeah, there was a lot of media there.
They talked to the protesters?
Yeah, I think, though, that they didn't use a lot of the conversations that happened from media being there talking to protesters. They more used, you know, what do you, other people who weren't there, who are more like who the media turns to all the time, and musicians, they ask them, what do you think about the protest? What do you think about the protest? When they asked me, I kept trying to turn it back to, you know, some of the youth that were involved, but the youth weren't really respected by the media, except for the exception that we have up there.
Thanks.
So in general, the media didn't even give us a chance, or you all a chance, to show what you're doing, or how you did it, or didn't talk about the emergency brake line being open. Do you know anything?
Yeah, you know, there was a statement issued by the 93 protesters, issued a statement that was pretty extensive in Massachusetts.
Oh, but
it
Rhode
was,
Island.
yes, this is a national, sort of, Black Lives Matter is a national call to protest. And if you look at the Black Lives Matter national messaging.
Right, I hear it, but I'm talking about in Rhode Island. Did Rhode Island media talk to you about how you're keeping the safety at all, that you know? So, okay. Better be quiet before I get myself on. All right, thank you.
Representative Filippi.
Sir, how long were you successful in blocking traffic for?
I'm not going to say I did anything because I was self-incriminating myself, but the protest was about 20 to 30 minutes.
And would you agree that that traffic jam stretched quite far away from the epicenter of the protest?
Yeah.
So when you state that a lane was left open for traffic, is that based on personal observation?
That was based on how the troopers got there, because they all managed to get there. Nobody restricted their ability to get there, and a lot of them showed up, and they all used the breakdown to get there.
But with the protesters only witnessed the lane open near the protest, is that their statement? Mr. Chairman, I just want to say I was stuck in that traffic jam, and I observed police moving through. They had small cars, and at times it was quite difficult for them to get through this open lane, this breakdown lane. And I just had concerns that an ambulance, which is much wider, wouldn't have been able to freely move as the police tried to.
Like I said, ambulance drivers are used to that all the time for all kinds of events that we all celebrate. And they do it every other day, and they just reroute all the time.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Thank you very much, Fred. I appreciate your testimony. Thank you. Barry Schiller, please.